So, hello and good morning. And I trust everyone is doing okay this morning. I first off, I'm Julia Royston, and that is
Brian Royston.
yay. So, first off, I want to say thank you for all of your congratulations and celebrations and all that good stuff that you sent on social media. We really, really appreciate it. I don't know, some people may not see it until much later. I'm thankful for anyone who's going to see this on the replay, but I really wanted to go live and really encourage entrepreneurs. First off, thank all the clients of BK Royston Publishing. Thank anyone who's ever supported us, bought our books, even if you haven't bought our books. I've had so many people who've never purchased a book, but they're always referring us. So I'm greatly appreciative and thankful for all of that. Now I realize it's Saturday morning and some people are still sleeping. They're not out of the bed. But I want to let you know that this, for someone who worked, so we're 16 years old, and so 12 of I guess for the last five, well, going on 6 years, we're full time. But the 10 years prior to that, I worked in the day, worked Monday through Friday as a teacher. Brian worked third shift at UPS, and so we had all kinds of different schedules going on. Normally, I went to school and wrote on the way to school and wrote on the way back home from school. Brian cooks, thank God. And then he would prepare dinner, have dinner prepared, we eat together. Then he would take a nap. And while he was napping, I was cleaning up the kitchen. And then when he would head off to work, then I would write a little more and then I would go to sleep. And so we had that cycle. And so then in the morning, because I'm an early riser, because he had to be at work at 9, right? And then I would go to bed probably 9 or 10. But then when he would come in, what time would you get home, baby?
About 6:30, 7 o'clock.
6:30,
Right,
7 o'clock,
yeah.
depending on what the schedule was there. So then I would be up writing, and then we'd have breakfast together. I would be always running late to school, especially the last 2 years, and then head on to school. And then he would go to bed from being up all night. So this was kind of our vicious cycle. But on Saturdays, we would have breakfast together on Saturday morning. He would still go to bed, but then I would be up working on either books, learning more about books. Sometimes I would meet Vanessa Collins. We'd meet up about 8 or 9 o'clock on Saturday mornings. So those serious entrepreneurs, we work 7 days a week. And Saturday morning, especially if you still have a full time job, which a lot of people do, and I do not downgrade, downplay anyone and make anyone feel bad because they are still working a full time job and working their business. That's how they're funding their business. That's how they're moving it forward. Is that they have to keep food on the table, the lights on, the roof over their heads until the business gets to a place that they can be full time. I refused, even though I was encouraged many times, quit that job, girl. You good, you good. I'm like, no, I will not quit teaching until I get a pension. I don't care if it's $2. I want my $2 every month, no matter what my business is doing. So I got to go back to the beginning because if you saw my Facebook post, Brian Royston is my day one. We were married in September, it'll be 18 years. The business is 16 years old. So therefore, he's my day one. So I've got to ask him, and he can be honest. He's gonna be honest. Believe you me, he don't lie. Even if he's trying to surprise me with something good, he's a terrible liar. So we ain't got to worry about him lying because he's gonna tell you, as they say, he gonna uh, shoot straight from the hip, double barrels. So what did you really think? Let's go all the way back 16 years. We'd only been married probably about 18 months, 2 years, and I say I want to start a business. What did you think?
I didn't think nothing of it. I really didn't. Because I, I'm a 9 to 5 guy. I'm not a business person, entrepreneur. So I didn't think nothing of it at the time. So as things progressed,
Okay, so wait a minute. Go back.
okay,
Think nothing of it. What do you mean? Okay, it's something
I
you want to
had
do. No
I had
big
a
deal.
phone, no big deal.
Okay.
That wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
You already knew you had it in you anyway. So that was.
Oh. Yeah, because I know some people say he didn't really support. Don't be reading nothing, and he gonna tell you exactly what he means and what he. So he didn't think nothing of it, meaning not that I couldn't do it. He didn't think anything of it as, oh yeah, Julia can do it, right?
Right, right, right. It was local. It wasn't going to be to the extent of you traveling all these different places and everything. I didn't think of it like that. At the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Well, when he first met me, we were singing in the choir together. So therefore, I sang and I traveled when I sang, and he traveled with me when I sang, or his mother went with me, or sometimes locally my mother was with me too. But otherwise, and some of my family might show up, but he's not thinking anywhere on this level. Because when you start, some people have big dreams. I'm gonna be all over the world. I'm gonna be. We didn't have that. We didn't have that. We were, hardworking people. We had the same goal, we thought. Now God has some other goals, but we had the same, drive. We go to work, we pay bills, we,
Have a big savings account.
have a big saving. Yeah, he's all about saving and investments and all that good stuff. So you're right. He's a 9 to 5 guy. Now I have I basically I'm doing the life that I was raised. My dad taught in the day, and then we had a janitor service at night since I was like 8 or 9 years old. Skybright, Louisville. My mother ran it. She had a few part-time jobs, but my mom has basically been a full-time entrepreneur because she ran the business in the day while my dad taught. And then we all hustled and ran the business at night. So entrepreneurship, being bivocational, I was used to it. I was born into it. I don't know anything other than that. That's all I've known. So vacations and shopping and all that was a result of hard work. Most people thought, oh, it's just so easy. No, we ate dinner together at 4 o'clock, and then we was hitting the ground running. Especially when we all had our license and could drive. Oh, we all had cars, but there was business cars. Most people like, ooh, you live in the Huxtable life. No, no, no. I'm working. That car had to go somewhere. It had to deliver something. Each one of us had somewhere to deliver uh, um, bags and wax and trash cans and trash bags and a check, a form, something. We was all, so entrepreneurs. We were like that from little kids. My sister was 2 years old when we first started cleaning banks, and her job was to pick up all the trash behind the tellers cages. So don't. Yeah. So entrepreneurship is what I know, and definitely what I know. So when I told Brian, who's a 9 to 5, work a job 30 years and get a gold plate and a watch and a pension, that was a little different, wasn't it, dear?
To say the least.
To say the least. Fast forward. Okay, so let's get into where our major, because if you're in a marriage or relationship with somebody, or you're thinking about it, or you're single and you want to be in a relationship, let's just have this conversation. Let's talk this out. Thank you so much for everybody who's joining me. Good morning. Good morning. Get your cup of coffee. I know you still got your pajamas on. Only the Roysons is up this time of morning. But I wanted to go live because I wanted you to kind of know a little bit of what my life was like. Thank you for all the thank yous and well wishes and congratulations on my clients, on my friends, on my family. I appreciate all the comments, people who know me and have seen me and supported us. I really, really greatly appreciate it. But I kind of wanted to go today and kind of give you an idea. So being up early on Saturday morning, working, going live, learning on a webinar, working on a book, putting stuff together, planning what the next week was going to be like. And then Sunday I had to make sure my lesson plans was done. Woo! So let's have this hard conversation. Let's have this hard question. So one of the biggest things we had difficulty with was what, Brian? What was one of the things?
Money.
Money. Okay. And so why was that a problem, Brian?
Because I had a goal of retiring and having a substantial savings account to be able to do what I wanted to do. That was my whole life. Ever since I was 22 years old, I put stash 30 to 32% of my whole entire check each week into my 401k and other investments. My plan was to make sure that I did not have, if I didn't want to work, I did not have to work. That was the whole goal. Okay, and you kind of dipped into those.
I dipped into those goals. Now, what
Dipped
was I
into
doing
those.
with my money? So, what
Huh?
was I wanting to do with my money?
You wanted to expand your business for the most part, and travel. In order to get more clients, you had to travel. Okay, which got me a little jealous because I had to work while you are gone gallivanting, having fun. My thoughts.
While I'm lugging heavy books,
While you're
and
laughing heavy books, while I'm stuck at home doing whatever, because I
yeah,
had to work, especially during peak season. Oh my goodness, that was the worst.
yeah, he didn't get to go nowhere during peak season.
Couldn't go
So,
nowhere.
peak season is the holidays. For those of you who not in logistics or anything like that, peak for UPS and FedEx is like September. Now it's probably back to August and July. We don't know that because his friends tell us that. Say we're doing some of those peak season, old season numbers back in July, like Christmas in July. So shipping is just become a way of life, especially since COVID. That's over an abundance, and now they're automating everything. So,
Right.
so how so therefore that was a source of contention and disagreement and heated discussion. I won't say arguments, but heated
Where
discussion.
the heated discussion really came from was flying to, to Dallas, to Houston, to Philadelphia. If you could drive, that it wasn't that much of contention, but plane tickets are expensive, and so are hotel rooms. And that was eating into your money. And me, the saver, is trying to get you to save also, which was a contention right there in itself. And then table fees.
Okay, this is where the argument really got become. And just kind of a heads up, I'm writing a book now on events and vending, so be on the lookout for that within the next 3 to 6 months because I've been asked to by people that I've met along the way, and I know my clients ask for it all the time, and I pretty much give it to them, give the information to them one on one, but I'm like, I gotta package it. I gotta put it together. What should go on the table? What should not go on the table? Why should you pick that event over another event? So I'm in the middle of writing that. So be on the lookout for that within the next 3 to 6 months because I'm writing more for things that I've done and things that I've been through now more than just what I like to write. I'm writing for need and an area in the market. But
Right.
the vending fees were okay local because we didn't have to fly anywhere. We didn't have to go anywhere, right? We could just go across the bridge and it would normally be something in Louisville or Lexington. That's no big deal. I can get up and back. I don't even really have to spend the night. I can get up early, drive up, do the event, and come back. And around here where we live, local events run anywhere from, sometimes it's $50 to $75 back in the day to $100, $150. Well, that's not really that bad
Yeah,
because if you're selling books, no, go ahead.
but I was complaining about the 150. I couldn't
He was
understand.
complaining about 150. He
I
didn't
was,
know it was going to go up from there.
yeah, I couldn't understand why they were trying to 150 for a table that you had to sell so many books in order to get, first of all, to get your money back.
Yeah.
You had to sell that many books, so they're already anticipating, okay, you're going to make lots of money, is my thoughts. And it probably still is true. They're going to make their money up front, and you're going to make your money up on the back.
All right.
If nobody shows up, you've lost your money, but they kept their money.
Right. Well, they get their money up front. Well, okay, so let me just tell people up top, something that I had to convince him of, or really, over time convince of, is that, when I first started, I didn't have 300 authors. I didn't 250 authors. It was me, and my first client I ever had was Cheryl Turner. And Cheryl Turner wanted to pay me to publish her poetry book, which I did. My first book was poetry, and so was hers. So after that, then, one or two clients a year, whatever, because I really wasn't pushing that hard. I was like writing and enjoying the writing process even more than publishing. So if you've got one book and you're in an event and it's $150 and you're selling, especially if it's local, $10 is about 12 maybe if the book just came out is where you can be. So if it's $10, you have to sell at least 15 books to make your table fee back. You haven't made no profit. You're just trying to cover the cost of the table, right? So after that, I only had one book and then I had three books, but then I also had music CDs because y'all know if you know me anytime, I sang too. So I had music CDs, so I sold those too. So sometimes that would offset that. So instead of having to sell 15 books, I could sell like 7 to 8 books and 8 to 10 CDs, especially if I sang. Okay, if I was able to sing at the event. But it was still an issue with Brian.
But see,
Yeah.
because some of these places people didn't show up to.
Yeah, they didn't have the traffic.
Enough traffic. They didn't do any advertising. They're counting on you to advertise along with them, not just them. You cannot depend on just them advertising because they can only reach a certain audience. That's why they invite all these other people for them to, with their social media, to do the same thing.
Right.
I did not
But
know
even
that.
before the whole social media thing, because we've only known about that, what, Brian, the last 5 to 7, 8 years?
Maybe 10.
10. Okay, so the last 10 years, it's really been important that, okay, the promoter promote and the people there who are vending it promote. But back then, let's go back 16 years, you were relying on what the flyer, communicating with churches. I had an email list back then, and it was primarily places I had sang. So I had probably about 700-800 people on an email list, and I would tell them where I would be, etc. But they're not necessarily going to show up for that, and they may have other lives. So therefore, you're still looking at 5 to 10 people may come just for you. But if the event wasn't well promoted, or so needless to say, when I would go to an event and have paid $150 and I only get 75 back or 80 back, and I'm gonna tell you, I've been to events sometimes with a table fee, sometimes without, and sold nothing. My mother-in-law and I talk about it to this day, and she looks at all the books we have, and oh my God, this is so good. But I told her, I said, Mom, you remember when we used to go to events and take everything we had, set it all up beautiful, and have to take that all back down and sell nothing. So first off, I want to encourage people who have a dream, believe in a goal. I don't care if you're selling books. I don't care if you're selling jewelry. I don't care if you're selling shea butter. I don't care if you're selling t-shirts. I don't know. There's going to be times where you're going to invest and not get a return on your investment.
Me personally, I must say this: those people that are selling a $10 book more than $15, I'm sorry, should be ashamed of themselves. Okay, I know they're trying to get their money back from what they paid for publishing the book, but there's other ways. You have to do the work. You can't make the people pay $20 and $25 for a $10 book. It doesn't matter. Now, if it's color, that's one thing. But I know you spent your money. I know you want to get it back, but that's not the way to do it because people won't buy it.
Well, but the only thing is, sometimes we've seen them do it. We say it should be priced at 10, and they could have sold it for 10. But if they can get it, they gonna get it. So I don't downplay your hustle.
Be ready for disappointment when especially when they see that thin book and they say, "You want how much for this?"
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there's a lot of people that want to support your ministry, whatever that is, and more than happy to, and they may even give you more. But most people, this day and time, they're trying to hold on to every dime they have.
So you can take it from the money manager, because he's clearly the money manager. So he's looking at what it's worth, what it costs. He knows that now, 16 years later. But back then, he's like, "There's not that many pages. How are they gonna charge $10?" But to me, it's more of you got to look at the message. You got to look at the person. Are they a speaker? Are they a preacher? Do they have a nonprofit? Do they have a church? Some people can demand it. Some people can get it. And based on what, they don't care what it costs, they want it. So it just all depends on, what it is. Yeah, we know what the going rate for a 100-page book should be, between $10 and $15. But it all depends on who you are and where it is. You can get 20. You could possibly get it, especially if part of the proceeds go somewhere. So back to my point number one, if you go to a place and you don't get a return on your investment, you have to make some critical decisions. You have to keep going. You have to make better decisions as to where you go and where you position your product, where you position your business, where you position your product or service. Now, for me, I had a job that funded my business and helped fund it. Yep, I took care of bills, whatever Brian demanded and wanted for household bills, etc. I met that obligation, but pretty much everything else was poured back into my business. I was committed to it. And even when he criticized it, I'd be like, Jesus, you heard him. He talked about my baby. He talked about my business. You have to be committed to it yourself. I cannot drag you. I can encourage you. I can inspire you. We're sitting here with matching t-shirts 16 years later, but it was a journey to get here. It didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen. It happened over time. I had that printer you see over. If you're looking at the video and you see that printer over his left shoulder, it took years to get to a printer like that. And that printer is 5 to 10 years old. But I had a $25 Big Lots printer that I printed my labels for my CDs on, because I had to start where I started. I can't have $1,000 printer start up front. It took me a while to save for a five. And when you're dealing with somebody who's not a risk taker and not a natural entrepreneur, you're gonna have to. It's like going to the bank proving your worth every month, every day.
And I'm gonna tell you, she wore out. Okay, that's the second printer. That's not the first printer. She wore out the first one. It was a business professional. I think it was like a $900 printer.
I wore it out.
Wore it out. It was a color printer. Wore that sucker
because
out.
I did a lot more in-person events. And so I would print out. And when I met people in person too, because I was local. But as I grew, more people outside of the city wanted to do business with me. So therefore, I didn't print out the contract for you to sign in person. I shipped it to you. I had to electronically sign. So over time, we built it. Over time, we moved away from. So the printer now prints very little. And I do more scanning than anything else because I want, I got to have my documents in electronic format. But what I'm trying to encourage you now is it takes time. It takes time to get to over time. Now, some people say, I made 6 figures the first year. Wonderful. But for me, it took time because Brian was not going to have me so in debt. We could not live. We could not eat. We could not survive. He had goals. He had dreams. He had things that he wanted us to be able to do now that we do. And so therefore, I had to make sacrifices.
Okay. Now, as far as, so the premise is I deal with, if you cannot pay your card off or whatever it is at the end of the month, then you don't need to be going anywhere. That's how I work. Now, there's other people that will max their cards out to the max and then pay the bare minimum. And then where are you at? If you had an emergency, you couldn't put anything on that card, right? So
yeah, welcome to my world.
We work from a debt-free standpoint. So there is very little debt, but these table fees.
Yeah, they eating us up alive. So
500.
So he balked at 150. So some of the international trade shows we go to now, I have to save and I have to and the hotel fee and all that.
And that's why she lets me know at the end. She doesn't let me know when she paid it. Now the business takes care of that now, but it wasn't then.
Yeah,
it is now. So it was coming out of her pocket, So my question to you is, how did you transition from the personal to the business, as far as keeping things, I guess, in that nature separate? Because you had to, as far as tax purposes. Okay, you had 3 books. Okay, so how did you go from that? Did you start your company right then with those 3 books, or your LLC or whatever you did? How did you do
Yeah.
that?
Well, on paper, it was 2008. On in my mind, it was the whole. I don't even have a picture of my. I do have a picture of my first logo
Logo.
and all of that. So it was, it was registered. It was but as far as being a total LLC, it took time for that over time, because if you don't have enough money to really do that, even though BK Royston Publishing started in 2008, but you have to build for that. If you only made $200, then okay, it's still there. But in Kentucky, $150 is the registration fee every year. So I mean, that would eat up all your profits right then.
Okay,
So making that transition from, yes, I had, and it took me years before I got a CPA instead of a tax preparer, because I have a degree in accounting. So I was like, oh, okay, I can do it a while myself, because I didn't have business on that level. But as it began to grow, I knew BK Royston Publishing has to have its own account. It has to be totally separate. I may make deposits from my personal into it to help it grow and make sure my bank account doesn't go negative, but it had to grow to that level. It had to get to that point. But of course, on that first year, I did not enjoy the benefits of every time we traveled, all that business expense we enjoy now. I didn't get to enjoy it early on.
So my question, okay, so how many books did you have? Do you have how much profit do you have to make before you have to claim it on your taxes?
How much profit do I
have?
I
mean, how many books? Like if I was just writing my first book, and I didn't have an LLC or anything, and I just wanted to sell.
If you make more than $600, then you have to start. I'm not a tax preparer, so please don't take nobody. You check with your state and your tax preparer. Brian, you asked me something that could get me in trouble. Hold on.
Sorry.
But I know $600 is where you really need to start checking with your tax preparer to determine, okay, where is this going? Because if you've already made, it's February, right? At the airing of this, of us going live, it's February, okay? And you've already made 600 headed toward $1,000, then you need to make some tax decisions.
What if it was in cash and not on a credit card or anything like that?
Okay, so see, you're trying to do something immoral and unethical. Oh no, see. Well, I mean, no, immoral, unethical.
People do it.
But don't listen to Brian Royston. Take care of business. Stand on business, but take care of business. All right, stand on business and take care of business. Why you ask me that question, dude?
Because I didn't know,
dude.
Just to be honest.
Thank God I'm an entrepreneur. I don't look good in orange. I mean, hello, I don't look good in orange. Hello. So therefore,
That's why I'm asking that, because people don't necessarily claim, well, it's only $600. That's not. They're not.
I don't know. You have.
It might be more than $600 now, honey.
You got to go with You got to determine where that is and what that looks like for you and your tax preparer. I can't say, but I know that $600 threshold is where you need to really critically start looking at it, and asking some questions of some professionals with higher pay grades and certificates and different letters behind their name than me. Hello. All right. Okay, so fast forward. Okay, so we've been down into the, oh my gosh. So fast forward to, I guess my next biggest year was fast forward from 2008, because we built, but it took time to build to that. I think when I first had my first biggest year was 2019. I published 35 books. Okay. So now, that's still, that was huge for me in 2019.
That was people, not you. People, right?
Yeah, that was people. Okay. Yeah. And then we go to well, no, that's just not me. That's just not people. 35 books, 2019. Probably of those 35, I probably did 5 to 6. Okay. And then the big year was 2020, because when COVID hit, I lost 7 contracts in one day.
Yeah.
7 contracts in one day. That Friday, March 13, when the world shut down, I got calls, texts, email. Joey, I can't move forward with my contract. I'm sorry. So I lost 7 contracts in one day.
Well, that
Okay.
almost stopped all our traveling too, didn't it?
Well, it did
Almost.
stop it. I from this big, well, the black chair is so tore up because I made money from the black chair that I had to cover it with this white t-shirt. I mean, I'm gonna be honest too. I don't, I'm very transparent in that, I thought I was going under. I thought I was going down. And as they say, I went down in my own sackcloth and ashes on March 13th, 2020. And like, okay, is this it? Okay, I'm gonna make it to year. What did that have been? 15. That have been year 11. 2020 would have been 4 years ago. So that have been year 12. So I said, okay, God, so you're gonna help me get to 12 years and it's gonna be over. Because it looks like if the world shut down, that means you're getting ready to come. Okay, so I'll be celebrating year 13 of the publishing company in heaven. I mean, you have to have the real conversations. You have to have those strategic conversations with yourself as to what that looks like and what that would do. Well, by summer's end, I had 17. So even though I kept moving, I kept going. I kept going with my um, email lists. I built my email list up. I kept reaching out to people. All right, so you said you want to write. I don't have a book yet, so let's write. World shut down. Let's write. How you doing? How's everything going? I kept communicating. I know some other people went into deep dark depression. They got on their couches and they were like, "Oh, Julia, I'm just eating bonbons and sleeping in my same pajamas." And I'm like, "No, we got to work. Come on, come on, come on, come on. We can do it. We can do it." And I was on free webinars all the time. I was sharing webinars to other clients and friends I knew had businesses, especially those with brick and mortars. Like, come on, girl, package them products you got and let's ship them out. And come on, everybody's home. They can't get to the stores like they want to. So let's ship. Some of them did very, very well. Some of them just didn't see the vision. But I kept going. And by the end of the year, 2020, I had my first 50 book year. And of that 50, I probably did 8. I wrote 8 because I was writing. I was a writing woman that year. So when you saw that, Brian, what did you think? Did you think we was going under?
I didn't worry about that.
Yeah.
I was just making sure that we had all the household expenses were met.
Yeah.
That was my main goal. Me being on pension.
Yeah, that was your first year pension. That was my second year pension. So, that's my money manager over there. That's my Royston financial management company sitting right next to me. He's right. That's him all day long. Me, I'm all about creation and making it and all that. But he's helping me manage it. Be sure if you're a gifted person who's a risk taker and an entrepreneur, get with somebody who kind of balances you out. Because if you're both real super risk taker and one of you is not like, okay, wait a minute, we got to think about this. Hold on, let's add it up. Is the cents making sense? Is the dollars making sense? Is it dollars adding and the adding ain't the math? As I said, the kids say the math ain't mathing. Yeah, the math ain't mathing. You got to have a balance. Because me, I'm all about the next. Come on, yeah, Brian. Ooh, they doing that over there. Ooh, they doing over there. Ooh, and he's like, wait a minute, hold on, big girl, hold on, wait a minute. Slow your roll. Did you sit down and count up the costs and did you figure it out?
Okay, because I know some people, I'm not going to say women because it could be men too, but have a problem with control and they think it's a control because you're saying, hold up. Did you count all this? I'm not trying to stifle, but I want to make a clear understanding, that we don't want to be in debt because we don't want anyone to hold anything over our heads. And when you're in debt, they're holding something over your head that they could take away from you in a moment's notice.
Yeah.
If the banks crash, the first thing they're coming for is your money that you have in the bank. And then they're coming for your house. They want the whole mortgage due at that point. And don't say they can't do it because they can do it.
Yeah. What is it? The debtor is a slave to the owner. I'm not quoting that scripture right, but you know what I mean. You're in debt. So 2020 was a major turning point.
Yes.
Do we expand? Do we keep going? or do we get down and really slow your roll? Now, as far as travel, I didn't do any of that. I didn't do any of that
We
travel.
went to a lot of local events. No, I mean,
Not in 2020. Well, I
no,
didn't hardly have no.
2021. 20, well,
2021 is when we kind of moved out. 2020, I was locked in the house.
yeah,
I
we
mean,
were,
we
yeah.
was in the house. I was writing. I was encouraging other people to write. Zoom was my friend. StreamYard was my bestie. Even from Live Your Best Life from 2019, starting that in November, and then we switched up in February 2020. I was going live at 9:30, so that's the reason why I still do that. And I started going live at 10. And then when Live Your Best Life went to Envision in June of 2020, then I moved back and did I still do a pre-show at 9:30. So I was moving, doing things. June, we established the Book Business Boss Foundation. So, I mean, I was home, I could fill out forms, I had time, I wasn't going nowhere. So I worked constantly. And in that fall of 2020, I applied for a trademark for Book Business Boss because I had started Book Business Bosses as a membership group in February of 2020. So I was launching. I was continuing to launch. Now it wasn't with a $500, $600 table fee, so Brian was a happy camper. He's like, and we didn't have to pay hotel bills and all that, so we were still able to generate income in multiplicity of ways. The magazine, Book Business Bosses magazine, started. The show didn't start until 2022, right? Because we're in season 3 of the Book Business Boss show. But we were moving, but still one step at a time, one day at a time. And so those things have started. So we applied for the trademark in 2020. And so the Book Business Boss, and that went through a lot. That was a grueling process, but I still looking fast forward. I still was getting up early in the morning and going to bed early. I'm a early to bed, early to rise kind of girl. I like to be in bed between 7 and 8, and I like to be up between 4 and 7. So and sometimes if I'm writing, I'll be up even earlier. So fast forward to 2020. Does it look like light at the end of the tunnel, Brian?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I think this might work. Hold
Yeah,
on.
because remember I was saying we gotta go in lockdown. We got locked down. Clink clink,
Yeah.
clink clink.
Clink, clink. But I don't know what happened in 2020. God smiled on us. He kissed us, and he let people find favor and be willing to do business with us. And then we've been on the move ever since.
Yeah,
53
and
books.
we definitely we had to invest in some infrastructure.
Yes. Software. We had to streamline systems, get those in order. There's just a lot of things that had to get done and has to be tweaked and tweaked all the time. Where you start is, I mean, even some of the graphics that I started with, I'm like, ooh, I can't even imagine anybody wanting to do business with me because now it looks so ugly. But if you use graphics, if you use Canva, if you have help with other graphic designers over time, and you're consistent. One more time for the Holy Ghost, and you're consistent and you're not perfect. I said consistent. I didn't say perfect. I said if you're consistent and strive to get better and better every year, God will be with you. And you follow him and put God in your business, it will happen. Now, I'm grateful and thankful that even though Brian's like, well, wait a minute, how much is that going to cost? Well, wait a minute, where are you going to go and who's going to be there? You're sure you need to be there? And I'll ask, well, what do you think? You think that's our audience? No, I don't think so. And then I won't go. But having somebody to bounce stuff off and that whole 9 yards is good. But if you got somebody you're with who does not believe in what you're doing at all, not caution, not be careful, not I don't want the house to go underground because of whatever you're doing. I don't know. You got to pray and ask God for direction. Either get a new occupation, a gift, a passion, or if you're dating someone and they're not really believing in what you're doing, you gotta really rethink that. I'm not saying break up with them. I'm not telling nobody to divorce. I've done that. That's no fun. It's horrible. But you got to really think, am I called to this? It's just something I saw somebody online doing. It was a TikTok and it looked like it was a trend and I want to jump on it. Or is it something that I'm really passionate about? Because there's going to be times that you're not going to have everybody in your corner. There's going to be times when, like me and my mother-in-law went to the events and they were like, oh, that's so nice. And nobody pull out a credit card, give you a cash app, Venmo, Zelle, nothing. And you got to take that all back home and be sad. You're embarrassed. You're questioning yourself, questioning what you have to offer. But maybe you just are not in front of the audience who needs what you have. Maybe you went thinking they were going to show and they didn't. No matter how much I've had people, I'm so sorry I missed that. Well, I used the Facebook as my bulletin board, billboard for a month, 2 months. I've been talking about it for the longest. Now I realize social media has those algorithms and all that kind of stuff, and all that changes or whatever, and you didn't see it. But between emailing you, between going live, between stories, between timeline, if you're on my email list, love, 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 love. It is what it is. Let me see real quick, Brian, if anybody's got any questions.
Okay.
Good morning. Hey, Karen, how are you? Thank you so much. Miss Peggy says, I know the answer. Straight up money. Hey, Lewis, how you doing? Good morning. Hey, anybody? I get his point. Thank you. Yeah. It was a journey. Okay, so Miss Peggy, that's the reason why I said I'm not getting ready to get in trouble with you. My tax person told me $500, so I had 600 in my mind. So as I say, check your tax person. Ms. Vernette, Dr. Nettles, good morning. Don't forget, in some states you need license to vent.
That's right.
You're right. Some states don't play about people coming in for events making money. Some states are like, okay, you can come in, make your money, and come on out. But if you ever go down to Alabama, baby, listen,
Bye.
I have to have a license in Mobile. I have to have a license in Montgomery. I have to have a license. I had a license in Huntsville. And I guess I need to check and see if I got to have a license in Selma. So I'll be there early enough to go to the tax people over there.
Yeah, because
and they want to present it. Huh?
If you forget and don't get it, you can't sell.
Yeah, you can't sell. They'll come through. Yeah, they come through with the tax people to look. They're like, hi, I'm here. You got to have that paper saying, and then after it's over, up to 30 days after it's over, then you got to notify them of how much you sold. And then they got a nice little calculator on that form. So that vending, that, that trade show thing, that's no joke. That is no joke. Hey, Candace, how you doing, gorgeous? Hey, Miss Danola, how are you, love?
Hey.
Oh, thank you, Miss Peggy, for finding out. The rich rule over the poor, and the debtor is slave to the lender. Thank you. Proverbs 20. I didn't have it right, but thank you for looking that up for me. I appreciate that. The slave debtor is a slave to the lender. So that is Brian, write that scripture down because that's your scripture.
Proverbs 22:7. All right.
that's your motto scripture, But in the end, when you see that it's continue to move and continue to grow, now everybody moves and everybody grows at different levels and different paces at different times. You have to always be reevaluating. Me, I evaluate on a weekly basis. I get up every day and determining, where I'm going to be, what I'm going to do. And, you have to reevaluate your schedule. You have to reevaluate your life because we're talking about 16 years ago. I was 44. Now I'm 60. So that, my body does different. My mind does different. My experience is different. I have more clients now. So since I have more clients, then I have to tell you that if you want to have a conversation with me, let me just put it up there. Go to talkwithroyston.com. And some people's like, girl, I used to call her, but I got to get on her calendar. Yes, love, because I could be doing something else. I could be on the road. I could be somewhere else. And when you go to Talk with Royston and you're on my calendar, you have my undivided attention. I'm going to make sure. I even tell Brian, okay, we have to be somewhere about 3 o'clock because I got a call at 3, or we have to be somewhere about 1 o'clock. And then you get a Zoom link, and then I'm recording the Zoom, and then you get a copy of the Zoom and know what I said, and I have a copy of the Zoom and know what I said. As time goes on, step by step. Just like I said about the printer, I didn't start that way in day one because I was just I didn't have, I wasn't writing for anybody but me. But now over time, you have to establish boundaries, limits, goals. Our parents are in their 80s. My mother is in their 80s. They don't want to. I won't say no numbers. So I'm sorry. I'll get out. But they're older as well, so we need to spend time with them. We need to check up on their health. We need to, and they're all doing good, by the way. So don't nobody get it upset. But it's just we're in our 60s and they're in their 80s. That therefore demands a family. We're retired. We can. So getting on that calendar says, all right, I don't schedule an appointment that day. I have an appointment with a potential client. So your systems change, your abilities to move about the country change. When Brian worked third shift, of course he was jealous of me on the road, being traveling everywhere, and and I was sliding.
It was jealous. It was
shopping, and I would get
eat all those exotic foods.
And that's one of the things. He's a foodie, so. But now that we travel together, he doesn't have to be jealous because he's right there with me. And but not only is he not jealous of something fun we may do, he's definitely not jealous because he's my packer, he's my organizer. I set all the cases down and he knows exactly where it's supposed to go, what it's supposed to do, what it's supposed to look like, so we can ease on down the road. So therefore, and then when we go into events and it's not quite like I thought it was, or even they said it was, and so he can help me figure it out and help me to be less traumatized and less overwhelmed. Because when we walk up on it, we were, no, this is a 10 by 10. No, that's Julia. That's not a 10 by 10. So we'll have to do something different, arrange it something different. So it's a wonderful thing. And I can truthfully, honestly say that God picked Brian for me. And so I know our wedding anniversary is not until September. But one of the main reasons why I'm able to do as much as I am is because I'm married to the right person. Am I perfect? Lord knows. Is he perfect? No way. But are we perfect together? Yes. We get it done, and we're able to move forward and get done what we need to get done together. What? Yeah. I know. Hey Ben, how are you? Good morning, sir. So one of the things that I did want to announce while I'm going on there, Brian, you got anything else you want to say?
No.
So I want to encourage you while I'm, especially those that are in my age bracket or older, if you have a desire, do your homework, do your research, find people who do that, follow them, even if they charge you for a session, find out how much that is, and then budget for that, and then say, I need one session so I can pick your brain and ask you those questions. But follow your heart, follow your dreams. Life is too short. It's just too short. Miles Monroe said the richest place is the cemetery, or people thought they would, and they had this idea and they never moved out on it. If you don't, God will give it to somebody else. He really, really will. And I am indebted to God to this day that for me obeying him. And when I asked him about Brian Royston, he said, Brian Royston is your husband. And I'm so glad and so thankful that I follow God. Now, some days I'm like, what is going? But then there are other days that I'm the bigger picture, that I'm so thankful and grateful because I can truthfully live my best life and be my best self and create and and do what all I need done. Now I'm quite sure this is definitely not what Brian Royston had in mind September 23rd, 2006, when he said he stood up there and told everybody he loved me and cherish and all that good stuff.
Well, I knew we're destined for greatness, but I didn't know it was going to be this. I thought it was going to be in the singing realm somewhere,
Me too.
But who thought books? Who knew?
Who knew? Books. I know. Who knew? Yeah.
90 books later.
Yeah.
Your 90 books later.
My 90 books later.
Your 90 books
later. Yeah. All that stuff we had to, inventory and all that good stuff. Anybody got any question? Go ahead and pop it in there. Uh, oh, thank you. What is his expectation that he holds himself accountable to his standards? What is your expectation, Brian, that he holds himself accountable to his standards? Expectation in other people? Yeah, this is Saturday. This is Saturday morning live. Yeah. And you believe you me, yeah, update your phone being because yeah, this is Saturday morning live. Thank you, Miss Peggy. Yeah, we are perfect together. Um, in him that you hold yourself accountable in your standards to yourself. I mean, what is the driving force? Is it the way you were raised? Is it God put it down in you? Is it just something you've always known all your life? How do you stay accountable to yourself and not let yourself down?
You talking to me?
Yeah, being asked the question to you.
Oh.
Well, think about it, and I'll tell him.
Okay.
First off, he has that level of character. He has that, I told somebody, I said, you can't turn no Rottweiler into a poodle. And he was born with that. He has it down inside him. Even if it's something other people don't agree with, when you pay your own bills, when you strive to work hard and do what you're going to do, you can demand. You're not relying upon. I mean, we have communications with people. We love other people. We appreciate other people do. But when you're relying on God and relying on yourself and your family and maybe some extended friends, but when you're pretty much a independent person, that's your standard. That's the gold standard.
But yeah, my I've always had that expectation to not depend on someone else. Okay, I don't depend on Julia for anything. We depend on each other, but I have a certain standard. I had promised myself when I was 23 years old that if I had enough money saved, I did not have to work. I didn't want to work, and I still don't want to work. When he gets me to do that, I have enough that I am able to take care of myself comfortably.
Yeah, he promised himself. And and there's some things that you have to promise yourself, and you have to, and I know other people have family obligations. I know that other people have children obligations, because that's different for him and I. Neither one of us have biological children, so therefore it is just he and I. And then if we extend it to God's children, or nieces or whatever, because we predominantly have nieces. We don't even really have that many nephews. We have nieces. So if we decide to extend that way, but right now, it is really number one to God, and number two to each other. So being able to keep that is because I'll be honest with you, other people will seek to take advantage. So you have to, when I married him, that was the first thing God said. You gotta, to any marriage, and Miss Peggy Dixon is like our marriage expert, marriage guru in residence, because she's been married in August, it'd be 50 years. But most marriages and most relationships, or even most businesses, is the outsiders you got to keep out. Even if you're not in promise yourself is a good. It really is. But you gotta not only just promise yourself and say words, you got to carry that out. You got to be willing to do what it takes to carry that out. Some people will be disappointed. Some people will be upset. I used to hey girl, what you doing? But people see me online and see where I am. They were like, why? When we get together, it's wonderful. Like, we pick up from where we left off. But I know you're busy, and I know what you're doing, and I see, and I'm so proud of you. Keep going. But when we do go eat, it's all in. I'm all in right there. Unless my mama calls, if I'm having dinner with you, if Brian and I are double dating with another couple, we all in the conversation, and if somebody calls, it just goes on mute or screen call. We're not doing nothing with it, because we know that we actually put in that time to be with those people. So, but promising yourself in words is one thing, but you got to promise yourself in deed.
And and actions are because I take people literally for what they say to me. If you say you're going to do this, I expect that out of you. I'm not expecting anything less. Shame on me because I trusted you, but I give you two chances. I don't give you three.
Yeah.
After the second chance, I'm sorry for your luck. No matter how much you beg.
And why? But I told y'all he was gonna be straightforward. Don't play with him. He'll tell
Straightforward.
you the truth.
Yeah,
But you
don't
know why he says that? Because he's doing that. Because he's doing that to himself. He's going to do whatever up late at night. If you need me, call me 2 o'clock in the morning. He's told the godchildren, if you ever need me, call me, text me, whatever. And he means that because
no
what
matter
he
what
says, we
time it
follow
is.
that.
No
No
matter
matter what time, he means that.
I am so sincere about that.
Oh yeah,
I cannot ask more than what I would ask for myself.
yeah,
So if I do it and I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
yeah.
Whatever that
You're
is.
right. God gets all the glory, but it's in Him we live and move and have our being. But but the scripture also says, "Let your yea be yea and your nay be yea, your nay be nay." So you've got to, what you say you're going to do. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. So it's a part of your character. It's a part of your spiritual responsibility and your Christian duty to owe up to that as well. And so that is that's what I'm married to.
Yes, we owe everything to the Lord.
So he said, keep
Everything.
talking. Brian, what's your vision for this year? What's your vision for this year? You have one?
Oh, it's always to be rich.
Oh Lord.
Okay, but rich is not necessarily in money. Rich is in living life to its fullest. You don't have to have a lot of money to be rich. Okay, and that's my opinion. But you don't have to. It's always a plus to have. But as long as all my needs are met and some of my wants, that's all that's necessary.
So his vision is always to be self-sufficient, self-reliant, not totally on self. When we say self-sufficient, that's all about, God.
Right.
And then and all about what God wants for us or whatever. We rely on God. God is in Him we live and move and have our being. God is always number one in our house. But besides that, is freedom. You chasing freedom, Ben? Are you chasing freedom or are we chasing freedom? We're pretty free right now.
Yeah.
6 years deep, we free.
We can go anywhere, anytime, any
Yeah,
place.
we free. We free. Freedom is what we looking for. Now, our bodies are getting older and they're telling us where we want to put our time, energy, and money. So as we continue to get older, it will determine. Yeah, we free. But as we get older, it will determine. I'm sorry, I'm gonna post this. Chasing freedom. No, we're pretty free. But as we get older and continue to move forward in business, it'll determine where we go, and we make that decision as a couple and as a family and as a house.
Now
Okay.
we and again, also we have all our finances and everything are in order. So if anything were to happen, we're taken care of.
Yeah.
Even
By the grace of God.
by the grace of God.
By the grace of God. By the grace, but as far as, because you can tell that's what his focus and that's what his goal is. And I think, mine is to be creatively to that next level, to strive to help as many people um as possible so that they can also fulfill their dreams. So what's my legacy to you, our legacy to leave for others? Um I guess
Live,
go
I
ahead.
would say live your best life. Do what you want to do or can do. Nothing is unachievable. It's what work you put into it.
Yeah. Yeah. For the legacy we want to leave for business, well, first off, the business came to us. I didn't go seeking for the business because the business was something that I only, so as if you know me for real, I have a control issues and I have trust issues. So therefore I'm one of those people who um it's making sure that if we, Brian has always been a proponent of, let's make sure that we can fund whatever we're doing
and
if
be
we ever
prepared.
need, yeah, and be independent. So
And we do have a succession plan.
yeah,
Once we cannot take control of it anymore, we have
it's in our will.
it's in our will to whomever we can move it on to. We have people that can do that.
Yeah. So yeah,
the business will never go under unless those other
those
other
entities after
circumstances.
we dead, they want to close it. That's fine. Yeah, that's left up to them. But I'll be dead and gone and won't be worried about it.
But
So
as
Miss
long
Becky
as
says she needs to work harder. I don't know if you need to work harder as much as you need to determine what
strategic,
your goals are and be strategic. Yeah,
right.
because at your stage of life, what does harder mean for you is different. What's harder but means for me.
But let those automation tools do for you what you can't do.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of them out there. You just have to plug yourself into where they are.
Yeah, and some of them are free right now until they start charging for them. So take advantage of them as much as possible. Ben said he needed this talk. Is this every Saturday? No. No and no. Because probably the next 2 Saturdays we'll be on the road in a minute. So I just primarily wanted to do,
It could happen.
Yeah.
You got something to talk about. It could happen.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen another Saturday. He said every Saturday.
Maybe twice a month.
No. I can't say every Saturday. I don't know where I'm gonna be. But this was a special conversation, and I'm gonna shut it down because they'd be like, they got on there and talked forever. But I wanted to get on here primarily to say thank you to everyone, all your support and all your congratulations. 16 years is a lot. I said when I retired, 3 to 5 years hard in the paint. Hey, there's my cousin Kathy. How you doing, baby? And I was gonna go 3 to 5 years hard in the paint. Well, now we've gone 6 years, and so we'll see what happens in the next 4 years, and we'll see where God takes us and what He's got next for us. I do have an announcement though. So I'm super excited about that, and I wanted Brian to be on with me. Even though he's like, you want me to talk? You want me to go live? You want me to do what? Oh, Lord. Thank you. And so, but he is my day one. He was with me. Hey, love, how you doing? He was with me from the beginning, and he was with me to help push me, even when I was crying and frustrated. And every month, I'm pretty much wanting to quit. I give up. And he's like, no, you're not. Especially after the first 5 years. He's like, oh, no, we're not quitting now. We got to get a profit from this. We got to make a profit from you. Done invested too much in this business, time, effort, me, my mama, everybody in this business. So we need a profit from it. But I did want to announce before we shut down. Ta-da! Yay!
What is it?
So
there we go. Okay.
There it is. So the Book Business Boss is officially a registered trademark with the U.S. Patent Office. It took 3 years to do. Just all kinds of changes. I want to acknowledge Miss Tony Moore Law Firm, who really helped us to get it done and helped us to Book Business Boss to come to fruition. I was very frustrated. I thought it would never happen. So I finally got my official seal and everything. See my gold seal and everything in the last week or so. But I got my official notice in November of 2023. So the bookbusinessboss.com is out there and available. You'll get more information about it coming soon. But the Book Business Boss is a consulting company. It's to help those. Yeah. Don't you love the gold seal? Yay. So it is a consulting company that I really want to offer for everyone, for all of my clients, whether I published you or not. But if I have not published you and you need advice and you need help and you need, because the self-publishing area has really been successful. And people say, well, why do I need you? I could self-publish. You can, and congratulations. And I've seen some gorgeous self-published books. I've seen some gorgeous music. Kathy and I have done music independently. We've done music together. We've done music separately, independently. So it can be done. But there are times, there are some people and who do need assistance. There are some people who do need a coach, a consultant to help them move it to the next level. You gotten to a certain level, just stopped so far, and you already have published your book and it's available on Amazon. But what's next? What do I do next with it? Some of you need help formulating your message. Some of you need help formulating your tags. Some of you, people are asking you to be a coach and to from more from your book. They want advice. They want, and you like, what? No, I just wrote one little book. I'm not ready to do all that yet. But if you're ready and you don't want to leave money on the table and you're really ready to take it to that next level, let's have a conversation. Um, talkwithroyston.com is still me. So go ahead and you can schedule a conversation. It's a 15-minute call and we can talk about that and then then you tell me where you are and what our next steps are. We're going to start where we start, just like anything else. I already have that system in place to access to my calendar. When that calendar changes, because my IT department is going to be working on that. So when that calendar changes, you can go and I'll give you that link, what's coming up next. But in the meantime, if you have self-published and you need some guidance, and let's have a conversation and let's get a strategy and move it forward to the next level. Some of you need websites. Some of you need landing pages. Some of you need to build your email list. Some of you need things to create content from your book, to go live, such as we're going right now. Oh yeah, there's a lot to be done. A lot you're not thinking about. A lot your placement of your book, vending for your book. Some of you may even need a new cover for your book. It might be the reason why it's not selling. But let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. Talkwithroyston.com. And those of you who are already clients of mine, you can reach out and we can take it to the next level too as well. So super excited. Thank you, Mr. Brian Royston. I don't know where we're going next, but you on the road with
To
me?
the moon.
Say it again. Say it again.
To the moon.
To the moon and back. To the moon and back. To the moon and back. You need video editing. Okay. All right. We might be able to do that too. I got a team for that.
I can
Oh,
video edit. I can do that.
yeah, he can help you with that. So,
What did she say? She learned what? What was that?
oh, I've learned so much from BK Royston that I wouldn't have learned trying, and I say trying to do it myself. I understand because it does take a village, it does take a team, and even myself taking it to the next level. I outsource and all of that, and I have
And
other
we,
people who
and
help
we
me.
have learned from the team also.
Yeah. Yep. Learning
Linchpin.
yourself. Yeah, you got to do it. Continue to move forward so that you can be all that you can be. And then, I'm not saying that I can help everyone or I am for everyone, but at least if we have a conversation, I can say, yes, that's me, or no, that's not me. So I appreciate this time. Thank you so much, Mr. Brian Royston, for being my husband, my friend, my partner, my ride or die, my critic, my consultant, and all that you've done. And the Book Business Boss, that's next. So if you need help, reach out. Yay! I love the village too, Dr. Nettles. I really do. I love the village too. So coming up, while we're thinking about it, where am I gonna go? 100 ways to be a book business boss. Go to YouTube, and 100 ways are there. Coming up next week, February 19th through the 21st. I'll be home, Louisville, annual Pastors and Leaders Conference for the General Association of Baptists in Kentucky. Then be going live, getting ready for the Montgomery Book Festival and Writing Expo, March 9th, 2024. More information for netcnettles.com.
Burnett C. Nettles.
Yay! So hit that and go there. And then of course on Sunday mornings, I'll be going live at 9:30 on Sunday mornings, and then Live Your Best Life at 10 a.m. And then the Book Business Boss Show. See, I already had a show. I had a website. I had a magazine. podcast. And I'm like, come on, Patent and Trademark Office. You're not gonna approve my trademark with prayer and supplication, endurance and consistency. Yay! And a great lawyer. Yay! Oh my goodness, it happened. It happened. So the Book Business Boss shows on Tuesdays at 10:30 a.m. So you all be blessed and have a great, phenomenal rest of the weekend. Thank you so much for all that you've done and all that you continue to do to support BK Royston Publishing, Royal Media and Publishing, and the Book Business Boss Consulting, helping you get your message to the masses, turn your words into wealth, and be a what, Brian? Book Business Boss. All right. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.